Well, thank you very much, Brian. It's a pleasure for me to be here with many of my colleagues from the region, actually. I noticed Mayor Nolan Kraus, who is chair of the Capital Region Board, Mayor Rod Shagas from Parkland County, our neighbor to the west, and I understand there are many other elected officials here this morning, which I think shows an active interest and a relevance to what you're talking about to those of us who work in the land regulation jurisdiction in municipal government. So very pleased to be with you here this morning, and unfortunately I have to go to a transportation committee meeting right after this, so I won't be able to stay all day, but I trust there are City of Edmonton representatives here as well taking notes. So we're very, very proud to be your host and to share in these important discussions around complex land issues. Here in Canada, one of the world's least densely populated countries, we've always had the luxury of space. But we recognize we cannot continue to grow and to build as we have in the past. The Conference Board of Canada has predicted that Edmonton will remain the country's fastest growing metropolitan region, nearly doubling within the next 30 years in terms of population. And while this growth offers many exciting opportunities, it also presents, of course, big challenges. Edmonton cannot continue to rely solely on outward growth, which carries, as we know, significant environmental, financial, social, and public health costs. Now, I know we're not alone in the challenges that we face. The fact that you've gathered here from around the continent demonstrates that the challenges of managing growth are indeed global questions. Now, as Alberta's capital city and as the major urban center for northern and central Alberta, Edmonton is at the hub of extraordinary regional economic growth as well. For our part, the City of Edmonton addresses the major land use issues resulting from this growth through our strategic plan and municipal development plan, which we call the Way We Grow. We've worked to ensure our future urban form and our land use development and redevelopment decisions are coordinated not only within the city, but also with our neighboring municipalities through the Capital Region Board. Overall, our goal is to transform Edmonton into a more efficient, increasingly compact, and ultimately sustainable city, where citizens are healthy, active, and engaged in their community. One way to help achieve this goal is through infill housing, and this is an initiative that I'm particularly passionate about and advocate relentlessly for greater housing options throughout Edmonton, especially in our established neighborhoods. Increasing housing choices in the mature areas of the city is critical to managing the city's growth more effectively. Because despite the rapid growth our city is experiencing, the population of Edmonton's mature neighborhoods has been in decline. And the majority of new housing options that we do see in our city are presenting in the newer neighborhoods. So for example, in 2001, 81% of new dwelling units were in new neighborhoods. Though interestingly enough, for the last 3 to 4 years, attached forms of housing have outsold detached forms of housing here in Edmonton, which is a significant shift in the market and tells us that something is beginning to shift. Meanwhile, in the mature neighborhoods, areas that are closer to our city's core, we've been losing residents and businesses, as I indicated. When schools are closed because there aren't enough families and children in the area to support them, and when small businesses that used to service an area are boarded up, it's a signal that we aren't using our land efficiently to support our population. And so we know we need to maintain the vibrancy of our older neighborhoods, and this includes offering more housing options that are affordable and accessible to first-time buyers and to renters. So while our mature neighborhoods primarily have single and semi-detached houses, we do have the opportunity to increase density through infill development. And on a lot-by-lot basis in established areas, this means narrow lot houses, which we're just starting to see in Edmonton, semi-detached homes, and brownstones for families of all shapes and sizes. And I always liken this to the Cosby Show. You think about the Huxtables in Brooklyn, right? Doctor and a lawyer. Did they have a detached home? No, you can't afford a detached home in Brooklyn or in New York. It's a brownstone, but it's perfectly desirable, and it's what huge chunks of the urban middle class and upper middle class live in cities where land has become expensive, as it has in Edmonton in the last 10 years. And this is an interesting conversation in our city because everybody who bought their house more than 10 years ago still thinks that buying a house is really cheap. or thinks that because interest rates are really low that it's not a big deal, that it's very affordable. But we've seen real incomes not rising as fast as anywhere near the cost of housing, and the multipliers are much higher. So we know that's why there's this market transformation happening right now, and it's really interesting to project how that will affect the consumption of land and the demand for housing in the future in Edmonton. Now, we're also not just on a lot-by-lot basis, but on larger parcels of land, doing some very exciting things with private land holding, transit-oriented development. You may have heard that we recently had a $1.8 billion expansion to our light rail system approved by all relevant orders of government. There's still a bit of paperwork to clear on that, but that's going to open up a number of significant redevelopment opportunities in the hundreds and thousands of units per station scale, which is an important part of this urban shift that we're trying to make here in Edmonton. And then the one that we're also very excited about is the municipal airport redevelopment project. We have 600 acres in the core of our city, about 1.5 miles north of here. And it is a brownfield site. There are some contamination issues, as you'd expect on a site that had that sort of use for so many years. And it was once the busiest airport in North America, actually the busiest airport in the world very briefly during the Second World War. So it has a great history to it, but it was no longer relevant as an airport in our current economic context. So it was closed last year, and we're proceeding with redevelopment there. But much as I hearken to the Cosby Show, I describe this as the area of our city that can be our Brooklyn, but a modern Brooklyn. It can be walkable, medium density, family oriented, transit supportive, with amenities and jobs close by, and just a stone's throw out of downtown in the central business district. So we're very excited about that work, and hope that that's something we'll be able to profile for you in future years when you come back for subsequent conferences. So all of these housing choices taken together will help Edmonton, of course, as we know this is necessary, retain people seeking that more urban lifestyle and attract those people to our city who are crucial for its success. It will increase the efficiency of the infrastructure we already have in place, make the cost of land incrementally at least more affordable for homeowners, and support community schools and niche businesses in these established areas. And so changing our current growth pattern will take time. It's a very gradual change, and it will be a lot of work, but we have an opportunity to be leaders in the country when it comes to land use research, planning, and policy, thanks to having the Institute right here at the University of Alberta. And so this is another opportunity for us to partner with our learned friends across the river and work together. So together we'll look for new ways to manage our growth responsibly, we'll seek out chances to engage with our citizens, and we'll continue to collaborate with our partners in the region through the Capital Region Board. And so finally, I just want to extend my thanks to Alberta Land Institute for bringing us all together here to share the research and best practices and take time to brainstorm solutions for land use issues that we find right here in our neck of the woods. So to everyone here, thank you so much for sharing your passion, your expertise, your time, your interest for the sake of our communities, our environment, and our future prosperity here in Alberta. Thank you very much.
Thank you.